The Digital Photography Cafe show is brought to you by Focus Pyramid, the autofocus lens calibration tool for your camera.
Welcome to the Digital Photography Cafe show. Join hosts Trevor Current and Joseph Cristina as they serve up the hottest photography news and commentary.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. This is episode 226. I'm Joseph Cristina here with my co-host, Trevor Current. How's it going, my friend?
Hey, doing all right.
Excellent. Not bad. Very, very good. The only problem that we're currently having, you see guys, I'm not shaved. Why is that? It's because I've been working really hard trying to get the house prepared for Hurricane Matthew that's just off the coast of Florida now, and it's a Category 4, I believe. Over 120 mile per hour winds. So yeah, I'm guessing that I'm going to lose power probably tomorrow. So I want to kind of get the show done and edited and out, right?
Yeah, you're going to get slammed. I thought you might have gotten hit this morning with it, because I'm watching the weather up here and it looks like It's moving in closer and closer. I'm like, oh man, you're going to get slammed for sure.
Yeah, not good. But it is what it is. The last time we had a big hurricane was probably like 10 plus years ago. And then we had like 3 in a row. So whatever. When you're in Florida, that's what you deal with. When you're in California, you're dealing with earthquakes. When you're in tornado central, you're dealing with tornadoes. So it is what it is. At least with hurricanes, bro, you see them coming. You're prepared, and that's about it. Yesterday, I was going to get gas. All the gas stations are without fuel. Ice is gone, water's gone, the usual. Everyone buys up everything, and then you're kind of stuck. So anyways, heading into the show, you have some incredible news after many, many, many months of R&D. Finally, you have CP up and running, right?
Yeah, that's right. This has been one of these long-term projects, probably well over a year. That I've been working on kind of on the side, kind of in between client work. So as many of you know who've been listening to the show, I primarily build websites for my clients. That's what I do for a living. I do design, I do photography, and we do WordPress website design and development. Been doing it for a long, long time. I've been in the graphics business and photo industry for over 26 years. And we've been doing WordPress website design since 2007. And that really has become our primary focus. I mean, we used to do a lot of consumer packaging and collateral work for, brochures, catalogs, stuff like that, for trade shows, exhibit graphics, all that type of stuff. But over the years, we've really kind of migrated our business to focus primarily on websites. Right. And, that is by choice. Because, it's a medium that we can work in that sees immediate results. It really gives the most bang for the buck for many of our clients. And the idea of the printed material, so much of it is gone by the wayside today. I mean, even photographers with their digital media, everybody wants the photos in digital format. So many less want them as actual prints or wall hangings anymore. And obviously, this is an ongoing battle for photographers that, you guys face every day,
Right. No, absolutely. Yeah, I know you've been working really, really hard on this, and finally it's available. So the photographers, and you don't really have to be a photographer to get involved with CP, because you do websites not just for photographers but for everyone. But you're kind of marketing it out there to us photographers by, the photo industry inside and out. So it's very easy for you to come up with, solutions for us. And, as you always say, there's a plugin for that. Have the, specific plugins that photographers need to show their work, to sell their work, to maybe sell digital licensing of their work or whatever it is. Right. You can kind of custom build that into their site for them. So that's really cool.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, our websites have been from, small businesses to Fortune 100 companies that we've worked for. All kinds of stuff. Ideally, yes, we want to focus on photographers because of our history in the community, because of the connections we have, and we have access to a huge photo community. not only through the show, but through our social media. And, currentphotographer.com has been around since 2009. And many of you that are new to the show may not even know that it existed, or that I was even part of it, or that it was my thing. But, that site has served as a great resource, both inspirational and for business ideas for many, many years. We've helped, hundreds of thousands of photographers, really like better their skills, get better in business and stuff. So, that's really what we wanted to do. We wanted to take our expertise in WordPress, our expertise in design, and be able to offer it out to the community, to the photo community, as a service, as opposed to just being a general, website development company. So, and like you said, there is a plugin for that. I mean, we can basically make a website do whatever the client needs. And, galleries are so important. Being able to sell products and online is so important. And we can't forget about the blog. The blog is definitely important and should be a part of everybody's workflow for their marketing purposes.
One of the things I really like about what you're doing is that everyone knows WordPress, right? WordPress is a fantastic platform to be able to build photography websites or any website on, because there's so many plugins. There's so much that you can do with it on the back end, which is fantastic. But one of the things that I really, really like is the idea of a proprietary system. Now, in comparison to what you're giving, a lot of these other hosts that are out there, what happens is when they build a system for you or build a website for you, it's almost like they own it, because it's very hard to migrate away from those specific companies, where I'm not going to name names, but there's a lot of them out there offering low-cost hosting and WordPress hosting. But what's cool about what you're doing is you're making it in such a way that in the case that they ever want to leave you, that hopefully they don't, but if they did, they own that website. They can actually migrate that website off, and they're not locked in and stuck like a lot of other hosts do.
Yeah, that's exactly right. On a proprietary builder platform, they own the functionality, they own the design. You do not. You own the content. And in many cases, there is the ability to export that content. But all you're working with is basically a data file with attached images. That
an XML file that you don't know what the hell to do with, right?
Yeah, exactly. What are you going to do with that? You need to import it into another platform. This really causes the need for you to basically have to start all over again. And that's something that, we don't want to do. We don't want to offer a proprietary system like that to our customers, because at the end of the day, it really doesn't benefit anybody. If our service is not up to their needs and they want to go elsewhere, sure, we're sad to see them go, but we want them to have that flexibility. That is important. That's all kind of the open source nature of WordPress in the first place, that it's available to everyone. And WordPress has such a large community of theme and plugin developers that, you can pretty much find a design that you like right out of the box. Maybe you don't need a custom design. Maybe you found a theme that is beautiful, but maybe all you need is just the hosting end of it. And we want to be able to serve those people as well.
Yeah, the most important part about the hosting is that it's robust, because a lot of the folks that are offering web hosting or WordPress hosting or whatever, their systems are so laden with sites that it runs like a dog, so you'll have a lot of this really slow sites. And we know, Google has said it, that any site that doesn't load in X number of seconds, the people click back. And once they click that back button, they will never come back to your site. So load times are so mission critical, and quality hosting is what's really the backbone of that speed. If you have something that is running well, running quickly, a lot of these systems like WordPress and others, they're very database intensive. So you need to have a very strong back end to be able to do those database calls.
Right.
And especially if you have 10 or if you have 100 or if you have 1,000 customers on that server. So, quality is very, very important. And some of these low cost, let's say folks that are out there, they're really not getting that quality thing right.
No, they're not, because yes, you're right. WordPress, as well as every other content management system, CMS out there, is database driven. And that's what allows you to add content dynamically without screwing up your website, basically.
Right.
And they are very database intensive. They require a lot of processing power and a lot of database calls just to publish the page, just to make that page visible. And so many of these shared servers, these shared hosting environments, are not capable of delivering this content quickly, and it does slow down. And that is one of the frustrations that I ran into with a lot of my clients. So early on, we didn't do hosting. We were just doing design work, and we would use whatever hosting provider they wanted to use.
Right.
And after a while, we would get, calls from them saying, the site's running slow. And I'm like, unfortunately, it's not the site, it's your server.
Right.
Then it became an issue of, backups. They had to go in and worry about doing backups. They had to go in and worry about server security as well. These hosting platforms, they do a back-end security on the server itself, but they're not doing security on WordPress, and they're not updating your plugins and things like that. And it really turned into a big management nightmare for a lot of my clients. So they started contacting us to basically do maintenance for them.
Right.
And, and the problem is we liked doing it from the standpoint that we could help them out, but it became a problem for us as well, because we're dealing with somebody else's environment.
Yeah, your hands are tied. You're only as good as your, the worst part of the system. And if the worst part's the hosting, then that's the way it is. You have to move on. That's
exactly right. And that's basically why we built our hosting platform from the ground up to be optimized, to be fast, and to be able to deliver WordPress websites without a problem. And that is really so important. In addition to just having a fast server, we got to do backups. We need to make sure that we have server-side security and we have WordPress security in place. And part of all that security is your software, your WordPress core and your plugins. They all need to be updated.
Yeah, it's very easy to forget about updating your plugins, and then all of a sudden, one of your plugins has a back door in it that has not been patched because you haven't done the updates, and the next thing you know, your server's compromised. And that's happened to us in the past, and no longer happens. But this is always an issue, and backups and security is first and foremost when it comes to your site, especially if you're doing any type of mission critical e-commerce type of business where you're selling your photos, you're selling a product, you're selling whatever it is, and it's not just there for people to view your beautiful pictures like a portfolio. That wouldn't, it doesn't matter if it's down for a day, but if you're not selling product for a day, it could cost you thousands of dollars. So that's very, very important.
That's right. So anyway, obviously, we're really excited about this launch. We want to share it with the photo community. We want to get the word out. We would love to talk with you. For us, our clients are people. You're not a number. This is the way we've done business in the past, and this is the way we want to continue to do business. We care about that one-on-one contact with our clients. That's what helps give you the best product you can. That's what builds the trust in our company. Right. And this is the way I've built my business, and it's been successful for me for many, many years. And this is what we want to continue with the photo community. So, we invite you to head over to currentphotographer.com/web. And it will bring you to a page that will tell you a little bit more about what we're offering as far as design, as far as hosting goes. But we would love for you to contact us. On that page, there's a form. And we want to get together and have a free consult with you. There's no obligation. You don't have to feel like you're bound to purchase something from us. But we would just like to talk to you about your needs. What are you looking for? Do you need a new design? Do you need a website that's mobile friendly now because maybe you still have an old Flash website, or maybe your site was built mobile responsive standards, so it doesn't look quite right or as good as it could on mobile devices. That's what we want to talk to you about. We want to just basically brainstorm with you, and if we can be of service, great. If we can't, well, maybe you get some ideas and you can implement them yourself.
Yeah.
So again, head over to currentphotographer.com/web for more information.
Awesome. Very, very cool. So guys, we're going to take a quick break, but on the backside of that break, we're going to be talking about things that transpired at Photokina 2016. We're talking about Olympus and Nikon and Sony and GoPro and a bunch of other stuff. So hang in there. We'll be right back.
The 3-in-1 photo reference tool featuring the revolutionary dual access color control is a versatile all-in-one color reference accessory designed to help photographer and videographer dial in white balance, exposure, and color temperature. The PRT features a large gray card with center target, making autofocus lockup easy while providing fast temperature neutralization in camera or in post-production. A 12-step exposure gradient helps produce perfect tonal reproduction, balancing highlights with deep, rich blacks. Most photographers color balance by eye, using the temperature slider to warm or cool an image. This method delivers inconsistent and inaccurate results. The backside of the PRT features our dual-access color control system, which addresses this problem. With a single click, this system will automatically adjust color temperature and apply color tint to produce optimal and repeatable results for beautiful photos every time. From in-camera to post-production, the 3-in-1 photo reference tool helps push your creativity to the next level, providing complete color control over all your imaging creations. Grab one from your local or online camera dealer or visit our website at jcristina.com.
All right, we're back. So Photokina, probably the world's biggest photography show, ended about a week ago. And there was a huge amount of news coming out of there. Some of it, pretty interesting. Some of it is kind of more iterations, more of the same. So there's just a couple things here that, we thought are worth highlighting. And, maybe starting with Olympus, right? Their new camera that they just came out with.
Yeah, their OMD, the Mark II that came out, the M1. Interesting. I found it kind of odd that the Micro Four Thirds, which I would have, if you asked me 2 years ago, I would have said, by now that just would be gone. That ship would have sailed. Everything would have migrated over to APS-C. Sony's moved into full frame. I'm sure other companies are going to start moving into full frame also. I could have swore that ship would have sailed. And, looking at Photokina, that ship's gone nowhere besides back into port again with some new offerings. I mean, that Olympus, the Mark II, where they talked about the Lumix GH5, which will be the replacement of the GH4. That's going to be coming out at the beginning, I think, of 2017. That looks interesting. The Olympus Pen E PL8, that's replacing the PL7. They talked about that. All Micro Four Thirds, all approximately 20 megapixels. I think that is that sweet spot for such a small, tiny sensor on these things. Yeah, I agree. But for example, what's interesting is with the OMD, on the video side, which, I'm very interested in, they do have now a way to output 422. So you will get literally, high-end video out of it in 4K through your HDMI port. Obviously, you're not recording at that, but still having the ability to do that with a camera this big, really, really small, 4K, is really amazing. It's very, very interesting. And that G5, I mean, I've been reading a lot about that G5 as far as specs and rumors and whatnot. We might have to nudge a couple of people that we know in Panasonic to see if we can get some insider information on it. But it really looks promising. It looks really good. They're doing a lot of things. And one of the things that really stand out is the idea of 6K photos. 6K, guys, pulling out, and running, also supposedly going to be the first to be able to do 4K 60p now on one of these tiny little mirrorless cameras, which is really interesting. No one has done that as of yet. So a lot of cool stuff. Definitely a lot of cool stuff.
In a nice, smaller, compact form factor.
Yeah,
so
that's the whole idea.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think there's a place for it. Is it that professional's tool or primary tool? Maybe, maybe not. I definitely think it's got its application. I definitely think it's a great quality tool for the advanced shooter, somebody who's looking to get really great images but doesn't want to tote around a big DSLR with all the big lenses and stuff. So I definitely do see the market for this. But I agree. I mean, I would have thought that the Micro Four Thirds market would have migrated to at least the APS-C size, simply because, bigger sensor. I mean, we say it time and time again.
Trevor, goes back to noise. It's just simply noise. How much light strikes that sensor. How many diodes can you actually turn on with good, nice, bright light? So that's usually what, I always look at with these Micro Four Thirds. Okay, what does noise look like at 800? What does noise look at 1600 ISO? What does noise look like even pushing it higher? And a lot of times on the older Micro Four Thirds, it was just got grainy. It just couldn't hold itself up. It just couldn't do it. Whereas a full frame camera, you're up at 6400 and you couldn't even tell that, you were at 400 ISO of yesterday.
Right.
Exactly. So that's always an issue. You can do a lot of stuff with the Micro Four Thirds. And I think that, let's say you're a wedding photographer and you use some of these smaller compacts like this, for example, like this GH4 that's coming out, and record high-end video with it. Let's just say maybe even B-roll, and still use your big sensor cameras for doing your main cam stuff. But for B-roll, I think it's awesome. And having something lightweight like that, it's good. I'm very interested in seeing how these things compare, not necessarily to full frame, but how do they compare to APS-C?
Yeah, absolutely. So then we had GoPro. They introduced their Hero 5, the Hero 5 Black. That's a 12 megapixel with a touchscreen. That's pretty cool. And then they had their 10 megapixel Hero 5 Session. No touchscreen, more of that simpler type of format. Really cool. They also had a drone of their own. And which is pretty cool. But what's really interesting, I think, and that's no surprise. I mean, we all knew that was coming. What I do think is cool is that Nikon came out with their own series of action cameras, let's say. And these look interesting as well. And, some of them, kind of fit in that same price range as what these GoPros do.
Yeah, absolutely. They're all called KeyMission. It's a KeyMission 360, a KeyMission 170, and a KeyMission 80. And it really has to do with what is being captured. So the 360 obviously captures 360. So you're going to get this VR look that everyone's looking for now, that you can post to the Facebook or post here, there, or wherever, which looks really amazing. 4K. And then in post-production, you can pick what the camera is looking at any given time. So for people that are out there doing some amazing, stuff that's like sports related or surfing or whatnot. I mean, this could be the camera for you. It's like $500. It's submergible up to like 100 feet. You can drop it from like 6-7 feet and it's not going to explode into pieces. So, it's kind of interesting. Now, being $500 for this 360 in comparison to the GoPro will be able to be submerged to about, let's say, 30 feet. This is going to 100 400 before you have to get
right out of the box
like
without a housing
right.
and all that stuff, right?
Exactly. Whereas with the GoPro, you're going to 30 feet, and then all of a sudden you need a housing to go below that due to pressure, obviously, and what type of gaskets they have in there and whatnot, O-rings and who knows what. But so that's very interesting that Nikon's getting on this bandwagon. And the 170 version shoots, obviously, a 170 as far as the width of what you're seeing. So you're seeing almost 180 degrees, right? You're seeing half of it. You're not seeing the backside, just everything in the front. That's still extremely wide. It's also doing HD 4K. So very, very cool. What I do like about it is you're only getting in 4K 30 frames per second, but then as soon as you drop down to standard HD 1080p, it will record at our favorite 120 frames per second for that nice slow-mo. And if you want to go super slow-mo, you drop down to 720, and now you're at 240 frames per second. That just gives you amazing, amazing video for doing anything with it in post-production. Really, really cool stuff.
It does. And that 720 is still large enough. It's still HD. I mean, it's not full HD, but it's still HD that you can really utilize that footage. It's not like you're dropping it down to 640 or something like that, to where it's no longer usable in an HD format. You need to do an inset box or something like that. So, right. Yeah, that's really cool.
And then you have your 80, your KeyMission 80, which only records, obviously. It's more of just a standard HD camera, tote around. It's $300. But also, you get all the other features with it, So a very interesting line, 500, 400, and 300, respectively on it. So, we'll see how it goes. We'll see if it is a direct competitor to GoPro, if people move into it in comparison to GoPro. I guess people will start doing some of this side-by-side comparisons and see which one is better for the specific use. So,
right.
But anyways, moving on, Sony. Their Sony Alpha, the 99 II, let's call it a Mark II, but it's not. It's a 2. Yeah. That camera is interesting. It is a DSLR. We always talk about, guys, mirrorless when it comes to Sony. Well, they do DSLRs also, and they do them well. So, this is a very interesting camera, the brand new Alpha 99. That thing is a beast. It goes for about $3,200. It's doing 42 megapixels and just a litany of things that are just amazing with it. That looks great. They're articulating back screen and all of your functionality when it comes to image stabilization and all the rest of the stuff. It is full frame from Sony,
which is huge.
Yep. Which is huge. What I do like that I find interesting with it is the idea of video again. They always get video right. Sony just seems to just get video, right? They're doing the 4K at 30 frames per second, right? The only thing I don't like about that is they didn't hit that magic number of 60 frames per second in 4K, just like Canon did not also with the 5D Mark IV, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. But what they do different, which they really get right, is the idea of giving people professional features, like, for example, a clean HDMI video out, right?
Yes.
Being able to give you gamma assist, giving you zebra. That's very, very important. And also S-Log. So if you want to do S-Log 3, S-Log 2, and be able to do color grading after the fact, you can do that with this camera and produce some amazing dynamic range in your images. So in your video. So very
something
interesting. I want to see what this looks like, once it's available. I mean, 400 points of autofocus. You know how Sony does this stuff. It's like kind of crazy.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see. I definitely would like to bring one of these in when I can.
Yeah. I mean, something as simple as a microphone port or a headphone port. I mean, so many cameras leave that out. I mean, and why, I don't know. I mean, there's, obviously real estate can play an issue, but I mean, something as simple as that is so important for the usability of these cameras. Whether you're vlogging with them or whether you're trying to do a studio video production and you need quality reference audio, you want to drop an external mic in, and you need headphone jack because you need to monitor that audio. I mean, that's so important. I mean, this is good. We talked about the A99 that was rumored on a few shows ago. And now, now it's seen the light of day here. So this is good. This is another, I think, a nice product addition to the Sony line, in addition to their mirrorless cameras that we really like so far.
I think this is a direct, let's say, shot over the bow of Canon at their 5D Mark IV release.
Yeah.
Because that's the two cameras I really would like to see together. The 5D Mark IV versus this Sony A99, the latest and greatest. I would like to see how they compare both video and photo.
Right.
Just to take a look at them, because I think that it would be an interesting comparison to see, where has Canon gone in 4 years from the 5D Mark III to 5D Mark IV in comparison to where they have gone from the Alpha 99 I and the Alpha 99 II now. So it'd be kind of cool to see. So
similar specs and similar price tag. So you're looking at $3,200 for the body here. It's not cheap. It's not a consumer level camera. This is definitely a higher end camera. So, I would like to see that for sure. Well, maybe you can get them in and do that side by side. That would be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, my friend, I think we are done, right? There's, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more stuff coming next week that we're going to be talking about. And, just to kind of tease, Photo Plus Expo is coming up very soon. And you and I are both going to be going to New York City for that.
Yeah, we'll be there, guys. So if you're going to, if you stuck with us to the end of this video, we will be there. We'll be at Photo Plus Expo for the duration from beginning to end. We'll be doing interviews and a lot of meet and greets and seeing people and, meeting fans and just talking with people in general. And, if you're going to be there, definitely reach out to us either in the comments below, wherever you can, and maybe we can go out and have something to eat or a quick drink and kind of shoot it a little bit. It's always nice to be able to meet everybody when we go to the different shows. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, my friend, we are out. If our listeners and viewers want to connect with you, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Yeah, all right, guys. Get me over there on Twitter. That's at Joseph Cristina, and that's Cristina with no H. Or head over to YouTube at youtube.com/JCristinaPhoto.
Excellent. And you can connect with me on Twitter. It's at Trevor Current. Or swing over to our website, currentphotographer.com, and you can see all the cool stuff that we're doing over there.
Absolutely. Sorry, guys, we're out of here for yet another week. You can get all the show notes from this episode by visiting digitalphotographycafe.com. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/dphotocafe. And we'll see you next week. Take care, guys.
You've been watching the Digital Photography Cafe show with Trevor Current and Joseph Cristina. Subscribe to our YouTube channel with any compatible device by visiting youtube.com/dphotocafe. Be sure to subscribe to our audio feed through iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, and Xbox Music apps or through RSS. Visit digitalphotographycafe.com for show notes and to connect with your hosts.